Good evening, friends. Once again, welcome back to our C language session. In the previous session, we have learned different standard input and output functions. So, one is printf. So, this is a standard output function which displays the output on the screen, and then scanf function, which is the input function which takes the input from the keyboard to the variable at the runtime. So the first step while writing a C program is declaring a variables. Declaring the variables, that means we are giving the information that we are going to use those variables in our program to the compiler. And then immediately after the declaration, we have to initialize the variables. That means we have to assign a value to the variables. So this initialization can be at compile time and runtime. So by using any one among these two, we have to initialize a variable. So here the compile time means we are assigning the value in the program itself. Here the runtime initialization means we are assigning a value at the time of execution. At the time of execution. So let us see a simple program to read a variable and to print the content of the variable. A simple program. So we have seen different data types: integer, float, character, double. These are all fundamental data types we have seen. So the first statement in the program is hash include stdio.h. Here stdio.h means standard input output header file. So all the standard input output functions will be presented in this header file. So these printf and scanf functions we are not defining in the program, just we are using the words. So that means these are the predefined functions defined by the compiler itself. So in order to use those printf and scanf functions, we have to include this stdio.h, standard input output header file. Next, main function. Our C program will start the execution from main function itself. So after opening the main function, the first statement must be declaration. So we have to declare the variables to be used in the program. So I want to read a variable and I have to print the value at the variable on the screen. That's our problem. Int a. This statement is a declaration. I am declaring a variable with a variable name a of integer data type. So a can hold the data integers only. A is equal to 10. Here a is equal to 10 is initialization. Initialization means we are assigning a value to that variable. So this statement indicates a memory location with a variable name a. It holds the data 10. And now I want to print the same number on the screen. So what is the output function we have learned? That is printf statement. Printf. I want to print the value but not variable name. So in the printf syntax, whatever we have written in between these two double quotations, that will be appear on the screen. Instead of appearing A, I want the value 10. So I have to make use of control string instead of variable. So it is a integer data type. The control string I have to use is percentage %d, close the inverted quotations, comma. Here we have to mention the variable which the control string depends. So this is the control string for A. So I have to mention here A. That's it. This is called initialization and this is output statement. And we are assigning the value in the program itself. So it is called compile time initialization. If I want runtime initialization, I have to use scanf function instead of direct initialization. Scanf. Again, here also we have to use a control string. So A is an integer data type. We have to store a value. We have to assign a value to the variable A, which is of integer data type. So I have to use percentage %d, control string, comma, and address of A, in which I want to store the value. Close. So when we execute the program, then the compiler will ask the input to be entered for the variable A. So this is called runtime initialization. Runtime initialization. So let us see this program in the C compiler. Let us execute this program. If you consider any program, while executing the program, there are 3 steps to be remembered. The first step is we have to write the C program in the C compiler and we have to save the program with the extension .c. After this step, second one is we have to compile the .c program. So for this compilation, we can use Alt plus functional key 9 in our compiler. After compiling, the next step is execute the program. For this, we can use control key plus functional key 9. So 3 steps we have to remember. First, we have to save the program using .c, then compile the .c program so that all the syntactic errors can be displayed. So after compilation, all the syntax errors will be displayed. So we have to rectify all those errors and only the error-free program can be executed by the C compiler. So before execution, the program must be error-free. That means the syntax errors. So for this, the shortcut keys are Alt plus F9 and Control plus F9 so that we can get the display. So we will use one more statement at the end of the program, that is get ch. So this is a function which is used to hold the output until we press any key. So until we press any key on the compiler, it will hold the output. So immediately after entering any key, it will get back to the compiler itself. So this function must be used in the end of the program. So if we are not using this function in our program, simply the output will be appear and immediately it will go back to the compiler screen. So that to see the output we have to press Alt plus F5. So remember, if we want to hold the output until we give an instruction to the compiler, we have to use this getch function at the end of the program. So if in the absence of this getch in the C program, the output will immediately displayed and it will get back to the compiler screen. So in order to verify the output, we have to use this shortcut keys Alt plus functional key 5. So now let us see these programs executing in the C compiler. So this is a C compiler. You can see the menu, file, edit, run, compile, project, options, debug and breakwatch. Here under the file menu you can observe load. Load is to load the already saved programs, and pick is to pick up the recently used files. New is to write the new programs. Save the files. Write to means renaming the C program, copying of C program. And here we can use a control F9 or run function. Here we can use alt F9 or compile to obj. Let us have a look of a basic C program. So first we have to write hash include stdio.h, in which all the standard input and output functions are defined. So these functions are defined by the compiler in this header file. So we have to include this header file while writing the C program, while using those, particularly while using those input and output statements. And our C program starts from main function. The execution of C program starts from main function. And first we have to declare the variables which we are going to be used. And in our program, we are reading the variable and displaying the value at the variable on the display screen. So let us take only one variable. We are declaring a variable int a. That means we are declaring a variable name with a which is of integer data type. So a can hold only the integer values. And now let us have a direct initialization. A is equal to 20. So two types of initializations, compile time and runtime initialization. Now a is equal to 20. Here in the program itself we are assigning a value 20 to the variable a. So this is called a compile time initialization. In order to print the value on the output stream, we have to use the printf statement. So I want to display the value instead of a variable name. So if I want to display the value, I have to use the control string. So as it is an integer value, I have to use the control string %d, comma, I have to display the variable name in which the value must be displayed, and getch function which holds the data until the user gives the instruction, and this ends our program. Here you can see no name.c. This indicates we have not saved the file. So we have to save the file before compiling the program. Now let us save the file. So one more precaution is the C compiler can accept up to 8 characters in a file name. So the file name should not be exceeding the 8 characters. If our file name exceeds the 8 characters, the C compiler will consider only the first 8 characters as a file name. So here I am giving the file name as initial.c. So initial is having only 7 characters, so it can be accepted by the compiler. Now you can observe the no name is replaced with initial.c. So after saving the program with the .c extension. Now we have to compile. Compile to obj. So only if there are no errors, then only we can execute the program. So here after compiling our program, there are no errors and warnings, and if there are no errors and warnings only, we can execute the program. So after compiling, we can execute the program by giving the control F9, or we can directly choose a run option in the run menu. So that you can observe the output here 20, and all these previous outputs are included in our screen. So if we want to clear the screen before printing the output, so immediately after the declaration, I have to use one more function called CLR-SCR. That means a clear screen. So this function is used to clear the complete screen before giving the output. So I have modified the program. Once again, I have to save the file. I have to compile the program, no errors, 0 errors, so that I can execute the program. So the output is 20. If I want to use runtime initialization, so rather initializing directly in the program, I can use the scanf function. Scanf control string %d, close the inverted quotations, ampersand a, because the variable is a. So above I can write the printf statement, enter the value of a. Now I have done a small changes, so I have to save the program, I have to compile the program, I have to execute the program. So the compiler will ask the user to enter the value of a at the runtime while executing the program. Now I will enter some 56 as input, so the output will be printed as a is equal to 55, because in here I have written a is equal to %d here, so a is equal to is printed, and in the place of %d the value of a is printed in the output screen. So this is a simple example for printf and scanf statements, input and output statements. We can close this. So let us close this session here, and in the next session let us have a look on various operators to be used in our C program, and different comments, how the comments can be written in our C compiler, and we will see some programs in the C compiler.